Awesome. Well, like I said, I love my favorite thing in young life. My favorite thing in young life club is getting up here and being able to share with you. So this has been something that I feel like God has been He's put on my heart, and I hope that it hits home for you. First thing I want to do, though, I want to start with a question for each one of you. Okay, I want this question. I want you to take this question personally. I want you yourself to think about, how does this question impact me here at this point in time in my life in Kalispell, Montana? Okay? The question that I have for you is, what would it take for you to feel more valuable as a person? What would need to happen in your life for you to feel more valuable, more worthy as a person, as a human being? Now, I want to ask you to answer that, but hopefully in your mind you're thinking of a few things that maybe if they change, you feel more valuable, more esteemed. Some of you might say, well, shoot, if I could just get better grades, okay, I would feel a lot more valuable. I'm sure my parents would feel the same way. Okay? If I could, if I just had better friends, if I had nicer friends, if I had people say all sorts of nice things about me, if I just walked around all day and people just like gave me high fives and hugs and they were just like singing my praises, I'd feel a lot more valuable. Maybe you say, if I had a more supportive family at home, I'd feel more valuable. Maybe you'd say, shoot, if I had more followers on Instagram, I'd feel more valuable. Okay? Maybe you say, if I had more money in the bank account, or a bank account at all, I'd feel more valuable. Maybe like if I had a smoking hot girlfriend or boyfriend, I'd feel more valuable, more worthy. I don't know. Maybe you'd say, if I had a clean slate, maybe if I went to bed every night not thinking of all the things that I've done that I'm not proud of, I feel more valuable. Last week, Taylor talked about identity. And a lot of you were here to hear that. He talked about identity and how there's these two voices. These two voices. Okay, that the society and the world that we live in, do we listen to what they say that we are and who they say that we are? Do we listen to what society and culture and the media tells us to be? Or do we listen to the words of our loving Father who made us, who crafted us, who breathed life into our lungs? And we listen to what He says we are. I want to continue that discussion this week, but instead of talking about identity, I want to talk about value. I want to talk about value. Turn to your neighbor and say, you're valuable. This week I want to talk about value. In our society, you guys know this. My bad. I should have had you talk, I guess. Okay. In our society, teacher mistake. I should know better, right? In our society, listen. I put a star next to this in my notes. That means it's good. It's good. Okay? In our society, in our world, you are given value based upon the experience that you have had or may have not had. You are given value based on the quantity of your bank account. You are given value based on your outward appearance, your looks, your sex appeal. You are given value based upon the people that you associate with, the followers you have or may not have on social media. You are given value based upon your job title, your success, your level of achievement in our world, in our society. But I'm here to tell you tonight that only Jesus looks at somebody and says, you have value, you have worth, not because of anything you've done, but because I am, and because I made you. You have value, you have worth. Only Jesus looks at the poor and says, you are rich. Only Jesus looks at the down and out, the hurting, the lost, the dying, and says, you are kings. You are conquerors. You are heirs to the throne of Christ. Only Jesus looks at you and looks at me, knowing full well all of the stuff that we've done, and says, hey, you are my son. You are my daughter. And you have value. That's some good news. All around us, I don't care if tonight you're here and you're 14 years old, or you're 30 years old, all around us, people are collecting stuff that they think will make them feel more valuable. All around us, people are in this constant, crazy game of collecting stuff to try to make them feel more valuable. Whether it's toys in their garage, whether it's money in the bank, whether it's relationships upon relationships upon relationships that they think are going to satisfy them and give them value, that are going to give them esteem. Whether it's degrees or jobs or titles or academics and levels of education, people all around us are collecting everything that they could think that's going to make them feel more valuable. But they're missing the one thing, the one true thing that can give us any worth, any purpose, any peace, any value. Maybe you know exactly what I'm talking about. Okay? Maybe you've gone on a trip before. Okay? You've gone on a trip before. Has anybody ever done this where you're like going on a trip and you're like packing stuff, you're like packing up your little suitcase, whatever, and you're like getting ready for this trip and you're thinking of everything that you need to bring. Maybe you even pack out like a list. Okay? And you go on this trip and you forgot like the one thing you need. Like the one thing. Like a week with my family and I don't have a phone charger. Oh my gosh. The one thing I needed to stay sane, I don't have it. Right? Or a toothbrush. I mean, brushing with your finger, or I mean, it's just not the same. I mean, you just can't have a good day when you wake up and you don't brush your teeth. Okay? Some of you need to take some else. I remember specifically, I was 16 years old. We were going up to Ainsworth Hot Springs with my family. It's a hot springs up in Canada. We're going to a hot springs for like the whole weekend. I like pack all my stuff. The one thing I forget, swim trunks. I forget swim trunks. Okay? But of course, like my overprepared dad, he's got some extra swim trunks. So what every 16-year-old boy wants to do, borrow his dad's swim trunks for the weekend. I'm like cruising around like, trying not, don't look at me like, of course they were super stylish. My dad rocking some, not so much. Okay? More recent example, I was asked to photograph Flathead High senior night for football by Marsha Wilson. She's a great lady if you don't know Marsha. And Marsha asked me, she's like, hey, no, will you come down to the football game and take some pictures of the boys? And, you know, it's one of their last games, and you know a lot of them. And I was like, yeah, sure. I'll do a charitable deed, and I'll come down and, you know, like, for free, just take pictures, whatever else. And so I'm like, I've accumulated my fair share of photography equipment in my life. So, I've got, like, my bag packed for, like, a photo shoot, like I normally would. You know, I've got, like, 4 different lenses, my camera, I've got like my special like jib pole, I can get up and take pictures in the huddle, I got like all my gear like dialed, ready to go. I've got like thousands of dollars of equipment in my backpack. I've been on a photo shoot or 2 in my day. Okay, so I cruise down the football field and I walk in and I'm like, yeah, right, I'm here to take some pictures of the boys and do a good deed. And I get out there on the field, I'm getting stuff set up, I'm deciding which lens I want to put on, whatever else. I get out there, we're about 2 minutes from them coming out on the field, okay? And I'm supposed to take pictures of all of them, okay? And I go and I snap a picture to like check my exposure, whatever else. No memory card. No memory card. I was like, oh, that's cool. I got one in my backpack. There was no memory card in my backpack. All 12 of the memory cards that I owned were at home in Whitefish, okay? So I'm on the football field. I'm standing there and I'm just like, oh my gosh. I can't take any pictures. I can't do anything. I could pretend and then maybe just tell Marsha, oh yeah, they got deleted or something. Or I actually contemplated. I was like, maybe I should just leave. I'll just leave and I'll pretend like I never came. Like, what are you supposed to do? You don't have the one thing that you need, right? I'm running around the field. I'm like asking people. I was like, do you have a memory card? Does anybody have a memory card? Okay, professional photographer here on the football field. I'm like, this lady was like, don't they come in your camera? I was like, yeah, I kind of forgot one. She's like, shouldn't you have a memory card? I was like, yeah, I probably should, whatever else. Okay, finally I find somebody who has a memory card that fits on camera. It's all good. I take some pictures, and they didn't know that until right now. But the one thing, right? I had everything else I needed except for the one thing. Such is our world. Such is our world. People collecting everything they think. They got a backpack full of stuff, but they're missing the one thing, the one true thing. To have value, to have meaning, to have purpose, which is Jesus. You might look around in your life and say, I don't have a whole lot. I haven't accomplished a whole lot. I haven't met a lot of goals. I don't even have a bank account. I don't have much. Let me encourage you. a little Christian math here. Nothing in the world's eyes plus Jesus equals everything. Say nothing. Plus Jesus equals everything you need. Everything you need. On the flip side of that, everything, you got a whole backpack full of stuff. You got thousands of dollars worth of camera gear. It's all shiny, brand new. You don't have a memory card. Everything minus Jesus equals nothing. If your worth, if your value is on anything else besides Jesus, it is only a matter of time before your world gets flipped upside down, before you get dumped out on the street. 2008. 2008 was one of the largest, it was the largest stock market crash since the Great Depression. They saw within a 24-hour period dozens of high executives, CEOs, millionaires upon billionaires, dozens of suicides within 24 hours of that stock market crash. They saw CEOs leaping from their 14-story executive penthouse office building because instantly their value was reduced to nothing. If your value is on anything else besides God, it's only a matter of time before that gets rocked and shaken. However, a Christian who gets everything from heaven and heaven alone can stand strong when everything else around them is falling apart. I want to end with this illustration here to help further drive this home. Okay, I hope this is helping some people. All right? So, I've got a $20 bill right here. This is it's real. This is not a trick. Okay? How many of you, if I was just like, I mean, my pockets are a little too tight here. I can't even fit my 20s in here. How many of you would, is there anybody who would like take this off my hands? Like, if I was just like, hey, would anybody want this? This is not a trick question. Okay? If I was like, hey, would you want this? How many of you would be like, yeah, I could buy some Dairy Queen afterwards, maybe. I could maybe put it towards fall camp or whatever else. Okay. Stick with me. Okay. So, most of you, if not all of you, still raising your hand. Okay. Most of you, if not all of you, okay, would say, yeah, I take it off your hand. Okay. What if I, take it and I like crumple it up, just crumple it right up. How many of you are like, yeah, I still take it. Okay. What if I throw it on the ground and I step on it and I whatever's on the bottom of my shoe, it's getting on there and whatever else, and maybe it gets ripped a little bit. Oh, it got ripped just a little bit. How many of you would be like, hey? Okay, what if I was like, and I spit on it? I didn't really spit on it. That'd be kind of gross. If let's say I just spit a loogie right on that thing. How many of you still, you'd be like, I might wash it, but I gotta eat food, right? Taco Bell afterwards. I'm already hungry. Okay. So here's the connection I want you to make. Why do you still want it after it's been crumpled, trampled, spit on? Why do so many of you raise your hand and say, yeah, I'd still take it?
Still has value.
It always has value.
The value has not changed. The value has, hey, get this. The value hasn't changed. And so it is with you. Look at me, please. And so it is with you, each one of you. Because we got people coming in these doors tonight. I got people, young people, sitting here in front of me who've been crushed by your situation. Maybe your family life at home. Maybe school is absolute hell. You've been crumpled up. You've been stepped on. Maybe you've been spit on. Maybe you've been mistreated. Maybe you mistreat yourself. But what I need you to know, and if you haven't heard anything else I've said, I need you to know, your value has not changed. Your value has not changed, and you are worth so much more than a $20 bill. And I feel like God wants you to know that. We have people in here tonight who've been stepped on, who have been spit on, who've been chewed up literally and spit out. People in here whose hearts are broken. We have people in here who are wrestling in a wrestling match with depression and thoughts of suicide. We have people in here living their life from party to party, from bedroom to bedroom, because they do not know how much they are worth. And I need you to know tonight that you are valuable to God. And my heart literally breaks. Sometimes I honestly cannot even stand it or handle it. I can't even sleep at night at times. Sometimes it feels like a curse just knowing so many of you awesome young people, and however many people who are not here tonight hearing these words. And it breaks my heart. It breaks my heart to see people go through so much pain, chasing after things in this world that they think are going to make them valuable, that they think are going to bring them pleasure or happiness or acceptance or love or peace or purpose. But they're missing the one thing that they need. The only thing that can do that for you is Jesus. And a relationship with Jesus. Because when you know how much you're worth, look at me, when you know how much you're worth, it changes everything. I asked you to start. What would it take for you to be more valuable? What would it take for you to feel more valuable? But I need you to know this, that value is not a feeling. Value is not a feeling. I kind of tricked you there a little bit. What would it take for you to feel more valuable? Newsflash, value is not a feeling. Value is a fact. It is a fact. You might not feel valuable. You might look at your life and you're like, I'm the least worthy person here for God to love, for God to have a relationship with, for God to forgive. It's not a feeling, friends. It's a fact. And we base how valuable something is based on how much it costs. Right? You go into a store, something that costs a lot, it must be valuable. God didn't throw down a crumpled up $20 bill and say, yeah, all right, I guess I'll take these guys. I'll pay, I'll forgive them or I'll cover their sins. God paid the highest price for you, the most valuable creation that He ever made. God paid the highest price for you. You are so valuable to God that He desires a personal relationship with you. The God in heaven who spoke the world into being, who said, let there be light, who created everything with the sound of His voice, wants to hang out with you and me and have a relationship. Mind blown. The God in heaven wants to have a relationship with you because you're that valuable to Him. And maybe you don't feel that way, but it is not a feeling, it is a fact. He paid for it. He set you free so that you don't have to spend the next 60 years of your life trying to find value in everything else. That you could find value, you could find peace, you could find purpose in Him. Maybe you're sitting here tonight and you're like, hey, nod. Some of you are nodding and smiling. You're like, yeah, come on, I got that relationship. I had that relationship. I've experienced that relationship. And for you, I hope that tonight was an extremely beneficial recalibration of your value. That you go to school tomorrow, that you go into the weekend, that you go to the championship football game on Friday or in the party on Saturday night, knowing that you are valuable and that God has a plan for you and a purpose for you, and that changes the way that you live. It changes the way that you spend your days. It changes the way that you look at that relationship. But maybe for some of you, you're like, I need that. I want that. How do I get that? I want to have that relationship with God. Whether you're beginning a relationship with God or whether you're continuing a relationship with God, it is much like climbing a mountain. It's much like climbing a mountain. One step at a time. Some of you, you've taken a few steps. You've started hiking. You've started walking. And you've started climbing. I encourage you, keep going. Keep walking. Keep digging in. We here at Young Life, we are like your Sherpas. We want to be your Sherpas. Is anybody tracking with me? We want to help you out. We don't pick you up and carry you and drag you up the mountain and be like, dang, this kid's heavy, but I'm just going to drag him to the top. I'm going to drag him to God. Nobody can walk with you. Nobody can walk for you. Thank you. Nobody can walk for you. We're here to help in any way that we can. Shoot, we'll carry some gear. We'll make you some food. We'll take you out to coffee. We'll study the Word. We'll help you in any way that we possibly can. We'll take you to fall camp this weekend. We want to be your Sherpas. But in order to have that relationship, you've got to take that first step. For some of you, you need to take that step tonight. Okay? And as a reminder of what we talked about tonight, I've got this little card for you tonight. Just a reminder. Put it somewhere. Wallet, dashboard, staple it to your face. I don't care. Okay? It says everything minus Jesus equals nothing. Nothing plus Jesus equals everything. That value is not a feeling, but it is a fact that you are valuable to God. So valuable that He desires a relationship. And I would be remiss to leave anybody here without at least giving you an opportunity to take that first step toward God. Okay? So would you guys pray with me tonight? Would you just close your eyes and bow your head just for a moment of concentration here? And then if you're that person here who you're like, you know what? You describe my life. I've been looking every which way to find value, to find purpose, to find meaning, but I haven't been looking to God. If that's you here tonight and you want to start that relationship with Him, I want you just to pray this prayer in your heart, and I want you to mean it to God. Say, dear God, I know that I've done wrong things, that I've messed up. God, I know that I've gone my own way in trying to find value in the things of this world. God, I believe that you are who you say you are. God, I believe that you paid the ultimate price to purchase me from my own sin. God, and I commit my life to you from this day forward. God, I'm ready for this journey. I'm ready for this hike. God, I commit my life to you. In Jesus' name. Amen. I will tell you, I've known God in a very personal way the last 15 years of my life. Okay? And this hike, this adventure, this climb up this mountain is not boring. It is exciting. It is exhilarating. And we are here to help you in any way that we possibly can.
I need